Hey everybody, welcome to the Magic Weekly News Update on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we're back to doing these. I've wanted to do these. I kind of took a break because the Magic world was getting very negative. There was a lot of negative news coming out, and as old viewers might remember, the Magic Weekly News was definitely me kind of telling people to relax a little bit about the news, and I stopped being able to do that because a lot of stuff happened this year that wasn't great, and time and all kinds of stuff. But I'd like to get back to doing these, and I was going to start doing them next year, but surprise, this week had a lot of stuff happen. A lot. Some positive, some negative, and I guess we should talk about it. So let's get one of the big things out of the way. The Magic Arena State of the Game came out. It used to be called State of the Beta. It's still State of the Beta. That game is definitely still in beta. But now it's the State of the Game. And they talked about, that they have fixed a lot of the frame rate issues and stuttering issues. It's gone from like 40% or 80% of people reporting them to 6% reporting hitches and 25% reporting FPS drops. Still not great. They still haven't really been able to find the memory leaks exactly. But hopefully they can fix that up because it's been a real big problem. The big thing, of course, that came out of that announcement was Brawlidays. For those of you who have somehow missed it, Brawl has come back to Arena in force, but it's only available to play other than by direct challenge on Wednesdays for 24 hours. If you're not around, you don't get to play it. People have been absolutely correct in being very angry about this. So finally, you can now play Brawl 24/7, any day of the week, anytime, for 1 month from December 12th to January 16th, if you pay 10,000 gold or 2,000 gems, which is the equivalent of $13 to $15 American. What do you get for it? Well, you get a card called Rice the Redeemed, which is an older card from, I believe, that Shadowmoor. You could also just craft this with a wild card. You don't have to pay to get this card. You can just get it the normal way. And what do you get after that? What are the prizes for this event? Nothing. That card, Reese the Redeemer, is your prize for your first win. And that is it. This is, as far as I know, unprecedented. Wizards has never charged money for you to play a format where you get nothing out of it. No gold, no gems, no prizes, no packs being opened, nothing. I stopped being shocked about things that Arena does a long time ago, and I'm still shocked by this. This is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's a really disgusting money grab. My assumption is that Theros is coming out soon. They probably crunched the numbers and saw that, hey, a lot of people have a lot of gold and gems. We need them to not have that because they need to buy the gems to buy the packs when Theros comes out. So let's take their gems. They want Brawl. Cool, you can have Brawl, but it's going to cost you. There's also another 10,000 gold event happening on Arena right now, or upcoming in the next week or something like that. It has decent prizes, like it kind of justifies it, but they're definitely on a little bit of a rake in the currency so that people have to still buy it for Theros to come out. So this is disgusting. I hope that it goes the same way that a lot of things have gone recently, where Wizards of the Coast announced something horribly bad. People get outraged and they go, oh, okay, we'll fix it. And they are kind of treated as the saviors. I wish they'd stop doing that, but I don't know. This is one of the most unconscionable things that I've seen them do in a very long time. It's disgusting. Don't pay it. Not part of the State of the Game was the Friends list, which notably was delayed last month, and then they said nothing about when it was going to show up. And then suddenly, without being in the prepared State of the Game article, it appeared on Thursday. I'm going to bet that maybe it was a way to try to appease the Brawlidays' anger. Because the Friends list doesn't quite seem to be working exactly. You can block people, but it will only show you the first 50 people that you block. You don't get to see the rest of the people that you block, which I assume means you can never unblock them if they're not one of the first 50. It, from what I've heard, doesn't exactly work well, where somebody will challenge you and you don't get a notification. You have to actually open your friends list and see that their name is glowing a little bit to know that they have challenged you. It seems like it was a little bit of a rush job. There's no way of friending somebody in game. You still just have to, as if you were doing a direct challenge, get their name and their number and put it in. Seems rushed. I'm shocked that it wasn't in the State of the Game article, which makes me think that this was rushed out the door to try to appease people from the fallout from Brawlidays. But hey, friends list finally made it. Maybe that means we get human drafting in the next 10 years. Couple last things about Arena, and then we'll move on to, actual Magic cards. The Games Awards happened yesterday, last night, and there was a lot of announcements, and we'll talk about some more of those. But one thing that happened is that as soon as the announcement went live, the Games Award After Party event went live on Magic Arena. It's a cool little free event that you can play as much as you want. Your first 3 wins get you Theros boosters. You can't open them until Theros comes out, but you get 3 boosters for playing it. And what's the format? Well, it's 2 pre-constructed decks, 1 Ashiok deck and 1 Elspeth deck, bashing into each other. The decks aren't great. They're kind of a hodgepodge. The cool aspect is that they have Black Lotuses in them, and Moxes, and Ashiok's has Ancestral Recall, and there's some other really cool old cards, Decree of Justice and stuff like that. Really cool to see these cards in Arena. I would not get your hopes up that this means that the card pool is going to explode. Moxes, Lotus, those are super simple cards. Ancestral Recall is just opt times 3 minus the scry. Like, they're not complex. This didn't take any extra work to put these cards in. So don't think that you're suddenly going to be getting Oubliette and Chains of Metastopheles and stuff like that. As well, these cards aren't going into Historic or anything. I believe they're just disappearing once this event is over. But this is a cool event. We have Brawlidays, which is one of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen the Arena team do. And then we have this event, which is really cool. It's free. You get some prizes. If you really enjoy it, you can just keep playing for free as long as you want until the event's over. A+, a really cool little event. It's not something that I'm going to play. I've already got my 3 wins, and I'm probably not going to go back and play it. But it's a cool little event. We got to see some new Theros cards. We get to play with them a little bit early. Cool. This is what you should do, not that Brawl stuff. The final bit of Arena-related news this week is that they announced that Worlds, the biggest tournament, I would argue, of all of Magic. This is where they bring the top players from this season. I think it's 16 people usually, maybe it's 24. I don't remember the exact number offhand, but they come and they play and they determine who is the world champion of Magic. Historically, it has involved Standard and Draft. One year it included Cube Draft, which was really cool. I believe Vintage Masters was previewed there. It sometimes includes Modern or like other formats. You're definitely competing to be the world champion of Magic. Not Standard, not Commander, not Draft, Magic. This year, Worlds will be held entirely on Arena. Arena has Standard. That's it. There's no such thing as Draft on there. There's a draft simulator, but that's not competitive. There's Historic, but nobody really plays Historic or wants to watch Historic. There's Brawl, but that's not really a competitive format either. So all signs are kind of pointing to Worlds being a Standard-only tournament on Arena, which I find really unfortunate. The death of Paper Magic has been talked a lot about this week due to a video that the professor put out. People were really railing him for being needlessly cynical. And then this announcement happened, and suddenly people were like, oh, I see. So yeah, I'm not on the train that Magic is dying in paper, but I think it is being very heavily de-emphasized and put into the back seat in favor of Arena. And I really hope it doesn't bite them in the butt, because if Arena tanks at some point and they've put too much money into it, well, there goes the game. But of course, the thing that I'm most concerned about here is that means no limited at Worlds. Or my nightmare scenario, some sort of bot drafting competitive thing happens where the players sit down and bot draft a deck and then play against each other, which sounds horrifying. So yeah, the formats haven't been announced, but all signs are pointing to this being a standard event. So I'll keep an eye on what happens here, but it's bad news for people who like watching Paper Magic, who enjoy Paper Magic, who are in any way concerned about Magic becoming a video game first and foremost. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking, though, of Magic video games that are video games and not the card game attempting to be a video game, Magic Legends was announced last night at the Game Awards with a CG trailer. No actual gameplay, just cutscenes. It's made by Cryptic. It's developed by Cryptic. They did City of Heroes, City of Villains, Star Trek Online, Neverwinter, and it's being published by Perfect World. And yeah, that's about all the information that we have. There's some descriptions of how you'll be planeswalkers in parties of up to 3 using spells, but it's all kind of generic sounding. There's no actual like explanations of mechanics of the game or even exactly what type of game it could be. It could be an MMO like World of Warcraft where you're rotating on a hotbar your actions. It could be Diablo where it's like a hack and slash. It is described as an action RPG or an action MMORPG, but even that term is a very broad term. You can sign up for the beta by going to playmagiclegends.com and signing up there. The beta is not live. It'll be sometime in 2020 that they'll start sending out invites when that beta does happen. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to give it a try. I love Magic going into other mediums. I don't need everything to be Magic cards. I like the story. I like the worlds. So I'm super excited to play a video game with the story and the worlds and the Magic universe, even if it doesn't mean that I'm casting Magic cards. So I'm super excited for this. I've signed up for the beta, and I hope to produce some content for them if they'll have me. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Also at the Game Awards last night, the Theros trailer was shown, and it was fine. We've had 2 amazing trailers back to back. We had the War of the Spark trailer, which was great. I loved it. And then we had the Throne of Eldraine trailer, which was great. I loved it. This trailer, I mean, it was a really high bar to live up to, and I don't think this one did. Technically, it was great. The CG was great. The music, which was by a guy from Game of Thrones. Post your angry comments below. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I didn't watch it. I tried a couple of times and didn't care for it. But the music was good. The CG was good. It looked good. The atmosphere was good. Ashiok looked really creepy and scary in it. But as a trailer, it didn't quite do it for me. The War of the Spark trailer, the Throne of Eldraine trailer, they were little narrative stories. They had a beginning. The gingerbread men wake up and discover that they're, connected and they're happy. And then there was a middle where Garrick smashes in and they're in trouble and they're running away. And then there was, the ending where you thought one died, but actually the other one died and the other one tries to, get revenge on Garrick. There was a story to it. This one, Elspeth and a bunch of Returned are walking towards a wall and we don't understand why or what is going on. Elspeth takes off her mask and is distracted by a young girl that she goes to try to rescue from the wall that we don't know what it is. Surprise, the girl's a nightmare monster made by Ashiok. Now Elspeth is drowning, not drowning. And then light. And that's it. There's no story. There's no narrative. We don't even know what's happening here, really. Are they in the underworld and leaving the underworld? Are they going to a different part of the underworld? Nothing's explained. And so unfortunately for me, anyways, while it was a technically great trailer, as a story device, it just didn't do anything for me. I don't know what's going on. It didn't really hype me up that much. It's not something that I'd even show my wife, for example. I showed her the last 2 because they were really cool little stories. She might not know Magic, but she can see what kind of happens there. But this one is just like, stuff happened. So yeah, to be expected, I suppose. They had 2 amazing, great narrative trailers back to back. You can't hit them all. Like I said, technically good, but otherwise, Just a couple of small other stories. As I said, a lot happened this week. I'll also mention that I will attempt to do these every Monday, but I won't hold myself to that. If nothing happens, I just won't bother doing a video. I won't waste my time, your time, talking about how there's an event on Arena for this weekend and it's Omniscience Draft that we've had 3 times before. There's the news. I just won't do it. But this week, of course, we had a crap ton to do. So a big thing happened in Historic. They decided to introduce suspensions. They didn't want to do bans. And we'll talk about why in just a little bit. These are suspensions. So what they're doing is they're suspending Once Upon a Time, Field of the Dead, Veil of Summer, and Oko Thief of Crowns. Obviously, all cards that have been banned in Standard. But these are being suspended, which is supposed to be like a lighter ban. How is it lighter? Well, they're not going to give you wild cards to kind of repay you for these cards that you're no longer allowed to play. But in exchange, they say, we'll keep an eye on these cards and maybe we'll take them off the suspension list, which is identical to the banned list. Cards get unbanned. You remember our friend Raptor Jesus, right? Rampaging Ferocidon? It got banned in Standard and then it got unbanned because that's how the ban list works. So the suspension list is literally the ban list, except they don't have to give you wild cards to repay you. They do say that if they decide that they are never going to take a card off the suspension list, then they'll move it to fully banned and you'll get your wild card reimbursement. You're going to have to hold them to that. You are going to have to hold their feet to the coals that they move cards to the banned list. Oko is probably not getting unbanned, or unsuspended. So I really feel like they need to give you the wild cards, because what's going to happen is we're going to come down to the month before rotation, and then they're going to say, for the last 4 weeks, we're going to unsuspend Oko. You get no wild cards. Or they're going to ban it there and then finally get your wild cards like a year and a half later. So make sure that you hold them to this, that if a card looks like it is never coming off the suspended list, that they ban it ASAP. Because this whole suspension idea is absolutely just them making a play to not repay wild cards to people, which is another kind of gross thing happening with Arena. There's so much gross stuff happening with Arena. I do hope it gets better at some point, but currently it doesn't look like it's going to. The final little bit of news this week is that Friday nights, the great Magic scripted comedy show that Loading Ready Run has been doing for 7 years is no longer going to be done in partnership with Wizards of the Coast. Loading Ready Run retains all rights and all episodes of that show, and so they're going to continue doing it on their schedule with full creative control. It sounds like they already did have full-ish creative control anyways, but they're going to keep it. They're going to keep making it. It's just not going to be on the Wizards channel anymore. You're going to need to go over to youtube.com/loadingreadyrun to check it out. They're still going to have pre-releases. They're still going to have that stuff, but it sounds like internally video production is going in a different direction with Wizards of the Coast. Don't know what that means. We'll see what the future holds, but Friday nights will continue, just not on the Wizards channel. So that's going to wrap it up for the news this week. As I said, there was an absolute crap ton of it between all of the Arena shenanigans happening and the Game Awards and the Magic Legends MMO announcement and etc. Most weeks probably won't be this full, but look for these videos on Mondays, usually late in the day, because I want to do it after all the announcements come out. If something big happens on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm probably just going to have to keep it for the Monday video. But let me know what you think of all that news that happened this week. Let me know what you think of Brawlidays and Magic Legends. Have you signed up yet? Are you interested? Let me know all that in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me over on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. You can find me at patreon.com/themanaleek if you want to help out there. Easiest way to help out is to like, share, subscribe. But if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.